and welcome back to Here's to Your Health. My name is Dr. Hans Kugler, PhD, former professor of chemistry at Roosevelt University in Chicago, very much involved with anti-aging, and that also is a very important part in being able to see correctly. Joshua Lane is on special assignment, and you will probably hear next week about a lot of very interesting things that are going on. And in the meantime, we have Esther Joy van der Werf, who will tell us a little bit about eye health, how to keep your eyes healthy, how to see better at any age and maybe even without glasses. And I actually can confirm what you're saying, even without having read of your books yet. I am naturally very much into health, anti-aging, and eyesight is an important part with it. But from a more down-to-earth aspect, I also fly airplanes. And when you do your medical for aviation, the very first thing is what they examine your eyes.
Exactly.
And at our health center, the Health Integration Center in Torrance, with Dr. David Wong, we had a doctor involved with the FAA in training people and showing them how they could actually exercise their eyes to see better, and literally within a few weeks. And I followed that's true. I mean, you will probably have your own approach to this one,
yes.
But I followed this through very simple eye exercises, right? One eye, the other eye, both eyes, eye coordination and eye exercises. And on the eye chart, within 3 weeks, I could see about 1.5 lines better than before.
Yes. Yes.
Well, anyway, so welcome to our show here.
Thank you,
And
Hans.
tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
I teach the Bates method, which is a natural way of improving eyesight. And it's something that I needed for myself. My own eyesight was nearsighted when I was a teenager in college. Found that distance vision wasn't as good as it used to be. Got taken to an eye doctor, was given glasses. I hated my glasses. So pretty soon I lost them and made sure they weren't found. And found it easier to live in my blurry world than to wear the glasses, because the glasses were so difficult for me to deal with. So for the rest of that time I became interested slowly in, was there anything I could do for my eyes that didn't involve glasses? Because I knew the glasses was the last thing I wanted. So I read an article in a newspaper about the Bates method and bought a book about it and started doing those eye exercises you're mentioning. And for me, they didn't work very well. They were somewhat boring. I didn't have the discipline to stick with them for very long. And so I quit and decided that didn't work for me. And years later, I came across another book about the Bates method. And this book said it wasn't about eye exercises, but more about how to relax your eyes all day long. And once I read that book and understood it and applied those methods, and not so much the forcing my eyes into all sorts of exercises, but allowing them to release their strain that they'd had for so many years, and allowing that relaxation to come back in, then it was easy. Then within 2 weeks, I was back to 20/20 vision, after 16 years of blurry vision. So I realized that it is definitely possible to improve your eyesight, but there is a better way than eye exercises. Eye exercises work to some extent, but they're often done with more strain than necessary. And when they're done with strain, they can actually not work at all, or even cause worse
Actually,
vision.
the type of exercise I used to do emphasize relaxing your eyes.
Good. Those are the
just
good ones.
sit back and relax. I mean, don't push, don't force anything,
Exactly.
right? But within that, we would follow your field of vision, utilize the entire field of vision.
Absolutely.
Explore it, and, as I said, it worked.
And that's what Dr. Bates did too. He very much emphasized the whole peripheral vision. Be open to all of it. Even though not all of it is clearly seen, the very peripheral of our vision is never clear, not like our central point of clarity. And the term for that is central fixation. And Bates used that a lot. He even called his publishing company the Central Fixation Publishing Company. So it was a term he was very familiar with. But for most of us, it's central fixation. Never heard of it, right? But what it means is to have your entire field of vision open, be aware of everything around you, being also aware that it's not all clear, where the point of interest is where your clarity is. But that point of interest does not stay clear if you stare. If you stare at something and hold your eyes still, then that one point that is available to us as a clear point becomes blurry. So in order to keep clear vision, the eyes need to be moving all the time. And that movement, now here's the difference between the Bates method and the eye exercise method. The eye exercise method is more forcing the eyes to move, or luckily if you find a way of doing eye exercises and do it without the strain, then that's fine. The Bates method is very much about letting the eyes move by letting them follow your attention. Wherever your attention goes, that's where your eyes very quickly move to without any effort.
See, that's what got me into trouble with my girlfriend. You know, she wanted me to stare at her, and if I let my eyes go, she used to slap me.
That's the girlfriend you need to ditch. You need one that's more relaxed. What you want is the eyes to follow your attention. The attention are always much quicker to move than the eyes. So as your attention moves and your eyes follow, then you'll find that at certain angles, your head wants to follow the eyes. Because the eyes, if they do some movement on their own, that becomes uncomfortable. They want the head to follow with certain motion. So if you get that order of motion, the attention first, the eyes follow, and then the head follows as needed, then you get a natural motion happening. And that's way more relaxing for the eyes than any other way, than staring, than exercises, any forcing of motion.
You know, you must have been teaching my instructors in aviation. When I was in the Air Force, you know, going towards jet training, and the basic idea was always, no, don't just stare ahead of time and let your eyes go. Look at the entire field, what's going on, and move your head in this direction, and don't be shy to do that, and so on and so on. And it worked.
Yes, it's your interest that keeps the eyes active and alive and moving, and the more movement they get, the more circulation they get, the happier they are.
Yeah. So, well, if people are interested in then, what would they do? How can they reach you, or what should they read, or do you have a book out?
I have 2 books out at the moment. They're in front of me here. One is Read Without Glasses at Any Age. That's my most recent book that I wrote for the people that are dealing with presbyopia. If you find that as you're getting older, that text gets blurry and you have to hold it further and further out, then at some point the arms become too short, and then people give up and say, okay, I must have glasses now. Well, this book will keep you out of the glasses and help you get that clarity back, because it's not a lack of glasses that is the problem. What your problem is a lack of having attention up close and using your eyes up close in a relaxed way. So this new book teaches that. The other book is from a few years ago. It's basically Bates methods, the best writing of Dr. Bates himself, combined into one book, put into a logical order, sorted by topic. So anybody new to the method can learn from this book, from Dr. Bates's own words, what to do to help your eyes get more relaxed.
Okay, well, what are the publishing houses for the books?
They're my own.
They're your own?
Yes, Visions of Joy. Visions of Joy is my company, my school, and visionsofjoy.org is my website. Although this book, the Read Without Glasses
So again,
book,
give us the website, or let's say if people are interested, what would they do? Where do they go to get the book?
So this one is on readwithoutglasses.com, and they're actually both on my own website, visionsofjoy.org.
So www.visionsofjoy, nothing in between, no dots, no one word.
All one word, visionsofjoy.org.
And the other one was readwithoutglasses.com.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So
good. More and more people are doing this. I actually did it with my last book, right?
Excellent.
I have I used to be with regular publishing houses. I published 7 books on my own, all relating to aging. Right, and counteracting, anti-aging, what we can do about it, preferentially no drugs and so on involved.
Exactly.
And the offers that I got Well, I was away from this because I talked about this previously here. I had an extreme car accident which turned out to damage my heart, and it took several years, but we totally reversed it with alternative approaches.
Nice.
I mean, no drugs, and and so my next book then, which was Lifelong Health: Learn How to Control Your Genes to Stay Young with Age. We put it out as an ebook, right?
Yes.
And
these are both available as ebooks too.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can go to Amazon or
Yes, they're on Amazon, both of them.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
Not Barnes and Noble, but they can order it through Amazon. Yes.
Yeah.
So you can go to any bookshop and ask for these books, and they'll be able to order it for you.
Okay.
Yeah. But kind of like you just said, that in order to have a long, healthy life, you need to kind of avoid the drugs, because that's the main indicator of a long, healthy life is no drugs. Well, for your eyes,
well, good that you said that. We've
similar.
been saying this for years and years. Like
for eyesight, it's similar because your eyes, they need to be free from the glasses in order for them to be healthy. Once you start with glasses, they
you
deteriorate.
limit them. You force them into a certain range of vision.
Yes. Right. So, and they become more strain on your eyes, and the glasses hold your vision in that prescription, but they also create more strain and therefore cause worse vision down the road. And so the more you can avoid them right from the beginning, the better it is. And Dr. Bates always said that, if you become nearsighted, if you have a little bit of myopia, the thing to do is not to get glasses. The thing to do is learn to release the strain that created the myopia. And if you do that right at the beginning, it is so easy to do. It's really easy to do. I find that with a lot of people. If I catch them right at the beginning, I had a 10-year-old girl a few months ago who, during the summer vacation, found her vision had become blurry and one eye had moved out. Instead of straight, it was moving out. And of course, they came back from vacation. The parents took her to an eye doctor. And thankfully, this was an eye doctor who said, well, you know what? The blurry vision isn't yet bad enough for glasses. And as far as the eye turning out, well, we'll have to wait for that to stabilize before we can do anything. And then probably what they would do is surgery. But that doctor remarked, what she really needs is relaxation. So the mother was all ears and said, well, what do you mean, relaxation? How do I teach her? And the doctor had said, well, it kind of has to come from within herself, and didn't elaborate from that point. So the mother went home, went on Google and researched eyesight and relaxation, and found my website and my books. Bought one of the books, started helping her daughter with palming and relaxing her eyes, and the blurry vision disappeared very quickly.
Do you do individual counseling with people?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and where?
At my home in Ojai, California, but also in Europe. I travel to Europe once a year, and this happened to be in the Netherlands a few months ago. So this
a suburb of Germany.
So they once thought, but we told them not.
I just had to throw this in. Actually,
we're neighbors.
When we go back into history, you should have heard my dad. He was such a disagreeer with the Adolf system. They locked him up. They sent him to Russia to defend the fatherland. Afterwards, we were in East Germany. Oh, that was another big disagreement. He was in jail twice.
Oh, boy. But to get back to this little girl, I just want to finish that story. She, the mother decided to bring her to me because she had been able to help the girl see clearly again. But the girl had double vision because one eye moved out. And because one eye moved out, it's just not comfortable. It's tiring. It's annoying. And so they made an appointment. I happened to be in the Netherlands that week, and they came to see me. And I helped the girl within an hour. I managed to get her to see straight again. And a month later, I heard from the mother that it's still straight.
So what did you do in order to get her to do that?
Well, the first thing I did was what Dr. Bates always recommended. If you have somebody with strabismus, which is the condition of one eye not pointing in the same direction, the first thing you do is have them look at something. They'll see two of the one thing. For example, a pen or a finger. They'll see two, and there'll be a gap between those two things.
Yeah.
The first thing you do is ask them to make that gap bigger, which really is asking them to strain more. And as they make the gap bigger and the eyes divert more, then you then ask them, say, okay, now just relax, let that go again. And as they relax, it comes back together.
And the often you do this, the closer it comes back together.
Not necessarily, but they learn some control. They learn that strain creates the distance between the two, and that relaxation brings the two images back together. And then through extra relaxation, in this case with the girl, I did a palming session, had her close her eyes, cover them with her hands, help her release that tension in that left muscle that was pulling the eye out. And after that, the eye was relaxed, and I says, okay, now you can open your eyes again, but only for a moment. Not long enough to try and see, not long enough to strain. So she did that. It's called flashing. And as she flashed her eyes open for a moment, she says, oh yeah, I see everything single when I do that. Excellent, very good. Now allow your eyes to be open a little bit longer, but as soon as it becomes double again, just close your eyes. So she opens her eyes and blinks and looks around and keeps looking. And I'm nervous. I'm saying, don't forget to close your eyes if it goes double. And she just keeps them open and keeps looking. And then she says, no, it's single. It stays single. It never went back to double, except if she's tired, it will go back to double a little bit, but she closes her eyes, rests them, the eyes come right back together. So even something like that, which conventional doctors will say requires surgery, if you just learn to relax the muscle that's tight, you can avoid that. And I've seen that on numerous occasions. It's really easy to relax the muscles of the eyes once you know how. And if you know how, you can avoid the glasses, you can avoid the surgeries, and keep your eyes healthy for the rest of your life.
Okay,
how beautiful is that?
Now, people are listening in, and now they're getting interested. What would be, let's say, the most basic thing they could practice to actually show them that this something will work? What could you tell them? And I'd say, start with this.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Well, I would always start with palming, because palming is the most restful thing to your eyes. And actually, I recently got a question. Somebody said, well, how about sleep? Isn't sleep somewhere where we rest our eyes? And you know what? For some people it is, and for some it's not. For some people, if you find that after you've slept all night and you've been well rested, you wake up in the morning, you see better, but then during the day you get back into your habitual tension and you lose that clarity during the day, then during sleep you regain that. So those people, they rest their eyes during sleep. A lot of them, however, don't. They take the tension that they have during the day and go to sleep with that and keep the tension in their eyes while they're dreaming, while they're sleeping. They wake up with either the same or worse vision the next morning. So in order for these people to really find a way to relax their eyes is to consciously relax them by closing them, cover them with the palms of your hands, and while you're doing that, check with every part of the visual system. Begin with your eyelids. How tense are they? Can you release those? Begin with the eyes themselves. Imagine that they're full of light.
While you have your eyes covered?
While you have your eyes covered and closed. Yes. So you go through all the visual system. You go through the eye muscles. You imagine that you can feel them. You imagine releasing them. Imagine your eyes just floating rather than any forced motion. Then go through the face muscles, your forehead, your eyebrows, the temples, the cheeks, especially the top of the cheeks. We tend to carry a lot of tension there. So you go through the whole system, release all these things. Then you go through the mind and allow yourself to imagine that you already have clear vision. Some people can remember having clear vision, maybe as a child, and they go back to those years and they say, oh yeah, when I was 5, 6, I had no problem. When I was 12, I still saw clearly. It was later in my college years. So they go back to the time when they had clear vision. Or they remember something that they do see clearly. Dr. Bates called that a foundation object.
Well, I can see clearly now, da-da-da-da, right?
If you have a song like that in your mind and you can remember that clearly, that relaxes you. And as you relax deeper, the eye muscles let go. So it's a great way of releasing that strain and coming back to relaxed sight and better vision. That's one of the things I often do.
Yeah. Anyway, well, give us the websites again, the title of the books.
Okay, it's visionsofjoy.org is my website. Both the books are available there. They're also available on Amazon. And this one has its own little website now called readwithoutglasses.com. And they're also both on Facebook. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter and all that sort of thing.
Sounds really magnificent.
And my website has a newsletter you can sign up for. So there's lots of ways of following what I do.
Yeah. No, this is absolutely magnificent. I mean, it confirms many different areas what we are actually doing within aging research, right?
Hmm.
I mean, it is a field that is evolving in different, I mean, in literally every aspect.
Yes.
I mean, I look at I have a system where I sort of scan the literature in respect to anti-aging and a number of colleagues that work in the same field. And naturally, I mean, eyes and vision is one of the very important areas, right? I mean, that's not only, I mean, for me especially because I fly airplanes, right? And you want to see that.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's not really good when you fly with somebody, which I did once, and your co-pilot says, okay, this transport airplane over at 11 o'clock, and I look at there and I can't see the damn thing, right?
Oops.
Right, that kind of bugged me. It gets you nervous, right?
Yes.
And so on. And,
Yeah.
so-
It's nice to have good eyesight and to keep it the rest of your life. What a blessing.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I love teaching people and watch them go back through the stages from their blurry vision to being able to do less things, more things without glasses, less things with glasses, take the glasses off far more often, find that they can do more than they thought without glasses, and then slowly improve their vision step by step and find that, you know what, I can do everything without glasses. I can see clearly again.
With all these problems relative to age, different stages of ages, do you have any observations there? Like, I mean, at what ages it's the worst or the best, or when real problems come in?
Obviously, the younger somebody is, the easier and quicker they can get back to clear vision because their strain hasn't been there very long. But that doesn't mean that somebody that's in their 70s, 80s, or 90s can't do it. It might take a little longer, but it's certainly possible. I think anybody can get back to clear vision. The challenge is when the eye diseases come in, but they're very much it's nutrition. The glaucoma, the macular degeneration kind of things. And I just yesterday, got a phone call from a friend who said there was a lady she knew that had macular degeneration. Went to her doctor just recently, and the doctor said, "Oh, it's gone. What have you done differently? Have you changed your diet?" And the lady actually had to think about it for a moment. She says, "Actually, I now include kale and spinach in my diet." Well, those happen to be the best foods for your eyes. Dark green leafy vegetables. So if she includes kale and spinach in her diet, her eyes are now getting the nutrition they need. They can heal themselves. So it doesn't matter what your age is. It doesn't matter what your eye problem is. Anything can heal. But you need the right nutrients. You need the right ways of relaxing the eyes. And
Interesting enough that you bring this up. There was a publication just a few weeks actually comes out of Dresden University in Germany, where they looked at older people, and the excuse is always, oh, I'm too old to do exercise, I'm too old to this, I'm too old to that. And what they actually presented in this paper, that to rebuild and keep muscle mass very well functioning is possibly beyond age 80 and even older.
you can build, you can build muscle at any age. And
Right.
for your eyes, one of the ways of building muscles is get outside in the sunlight, because sunlight reduces our pupil size.
Exactly.
And that's a muscle. So the more you're out in the sunlight, the more you look in the distance, the healthier your eyes are. So it's a very important part of improving your eyes. Be comfortable in sun, avoid the sunglasses. There's a big scare going on about that sunlight is so harmful to your eyes.
It isn't.
It's actually not true.
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
not true at all. But it ends up with lots of people buying sunglasses. And that creates more sensitivity for the eyes, more light sensitivity, and therefore the request for darker sunglasses. And that's going the opposite from what your eyes really need. What they need is more sunlight and less of the glasses and just way more outdoor time.
Yeah.
They'll be much healthier.
I can totally confirm that. I mean, a few weeks ago, I was flying with a different type of airplane, right? And I always wanted to fly that airplane. And I went up with a young flight instructor. He was about 28 or something like this, and heavy sunglasses on there. And he said to me, well, you should really wear sunglasses. You protect your eyes. I said, what's your prescription for your eyes? And he reads it off to me. I said, I don't have any. Right? And I didn't wear any sunglasses. I didn't wear any glasses at all, right?
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes I used to wear some glasses for reading, and more just practicing, I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I can read
Yeah.
without the glasses.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
There's-
Recently, I did a book signing for this new book, and somebody walked by, and it was an older gentleman. And I asked, "How are your eyes?" Just to get his attention. He says, "Mine are great." And I says, "Oh, wonderful. What do you think?" Because this looked like a man in his late 60s, maybe 70s. "What do you think you did to keep your eyes healthy?" He says, "I don't know. I always ski and I go surfing, and he says, I'm always out in the sun, so I don't know how I kept them healthy." And I'm like, "That's exactly how you kept them healthy."
Exactly. Yeah.
So it was interesting that he didn't think the sun was good for his eyes, when obviously he kept his good eyesight because he was out so
taught
much.
this.
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know? I mean, in school, the very first thing was they gave me glasses. Oh, I hated these
Yeah,
things,
I
right?
did too.
And I lost them, probably the same as you.
On
And
purpose.
I hid them everywhere else,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And then my dad says, "Well, we have to pay again for those glasses." I said, "Well, let me try a little bit, whatever." And then I found my glasses, right, to make him happy, right?
Yes, yes.
And I wore them for a little bit, and
And lost them again.
I lost them again, and as through the ages, I at age 12, I actually started flying glider airplanes, and to get permission, you've got to go to a doctor over there who examines you, and naturally, focusing on the eyes is very important, right? And so I learned a little bit about this. Thank God I sort of fell into the hands of a more like osteopath, who is not really into eyeglasses and drugs and this and that. And I was lucky with that, right? I was so fascinated about flying airplanes and what I see up there, which is totally different from what you see down here,
Yes.
right? And I got my my license, and I fly twin-engine airplane, and I flew jets in the military, and
It's one way of
it
keeping your
is-
eyes healthy, being out there in the sun a lot.
yeah, it
And
is.
you're always looking into the long distance.
Yeah.
Excellent for your eyes. Yeah.
yeah,
Very
anyway.
relaxing.
Very good. Well, a magnificent interview,
Thank you.
and readers out there, you have the websites and everything else,
Visionsofjoy.org. Yeah.
right? Visionsofjoy.org.